From WBBZ-TV Sports, it's time to beat the champ. Now, here are your hosts, Paul Peck and Sue Novoitsky.
Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to Classic Lanes to begin our month-long stay here in Kenmore for another edition of Beat the Champ with Sue Novoitsky and Janelle Sabin. My name is Paul Peck. The last time we were here a summer ago, Sue, was the amazing display that Jeremy Zimmerman won all 9 matches here at Classic Lanes. This year, one of the other great Beat the Champ bowlers comes in on a 6-match winning streak, and that's Mike Zarcone.
Right, and you know, with Mike, when he gets on a roll, anything can happen. He's proven that by winning 6 matches. And this is kind of a streaky place. So although the scores can be high, it's a matter of carry. And if you get that right carry, as Jeremy's proven, you can just keep on going. So, you know, it's a matter of Mike finding out, you know, getting that carry going for himself.
Yeah, and if somehow the upset can be pulled by our first bowler challenging Mike Zarcone, and that's Tom Kress, it will set up the first brother versus brother match on Beat the Champ.
Right, and twin brothers, right-hander, left-hander. You know, so that they can't get too competitive with one another because they can always blame it on which hand they're bowling with. But you know, Mike's got that advantage of bowling against the next 2 competitors coming up against him have never made a TV show, so you've got the nerve factor going on too.
You know, if that falls that way, Janelle, you'll be able to write Kress and Kress on the scoreboard.
And then I'll be confused.
Maybe we all will. It'll be our job to make sure that doesn't happen, at least the confusion part, but cool things always happen at Classic Lanes. Let's find out if that's the case for 2018. Let's get rolling.
I'm here at Beat the Champ with the winningest bowler on Beat the Champ in a new house here at Classic Lanes in Tonawanda. So it's been a couple weeks, new house. We always talk about the challenges of coming to a new house, but you've seen this house before, have you not?
Yeah, I bowl here in league for the past 25 years, so it's pretty familiar to me.
When you come in here for a new event like this, do you bring the same equipment? Do you come in here with the mindset that it's going to be kind of like what you see in league?
Yeah, I have a good idea on what the shot's going to be, so I bring 2 or 3 balls, and hopefully they work.
And you're facing twins today. Well, if you make it through the day, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it is. Sure will. I really don't know much about them, but we'll see what happens.
No defense in bowling, right?
No defense. Just put the pedal to the metal and strike as much as you can.
All right. Well, good luck to you today, Mike.
Thank you.
And it's a good one to get us started, Sue, as you get a look for the first time on our show of 21-year-old Tom Kress from Cheektowaga. And he's got quite the task in front of him to knock off Mike Zarcone. As we mentioned, Mike coming in on a 6-match winning streak off an outstanding 2 weeks in a row at the Rapids Bowling Center last month. And in those 6, for Mike Zarcone, averaged 241. But here's a chance to get a look at Tom and see if we move towards the first ever brother versus brother match on our show. But it's going to rely on Tom coming up with a big win here.
Yeah, so one thing that Tom admitted to me in the interview was that he was nervous. And, you know, obviously he's nervous. It's his first show, so we're going to getting his first shot out of the way is going to do a lot to calm his nerves and, you know, get a feel for it.
Tom and his brother Ryan, who will bowl in the second match, are 2 of the 3 bowlers in this month's series of shows here at Classic that are making their debuts. And, you know, it's generally the guys making their debuts struggle a little bit to kind of get used to the feel and the cameras and the lights and you and I talking. And it certainly doesn't help when you're going up against the guy who's on his 26th show, which is Mike Zarcone.
And, you know, he can be a human strike machine.
Yes.
Again, with his enormous amount of 300s, I think he's
105.
105.
Yeah.
So he's got that tricky roll that when he lines up, that roll just has excellent carry. That little shovel, got that one in. It was timing was a little poor on that. It got there a little fast and pulled that one in.
Yeah, Mike got a little flyby there on the looking to grab that 10 pin, so he'll go for the second frame spare. But, you know, of course, if you watch the show on a regular basis, you don't need us to tell you how good Mike Zarcone is. 26 show, he's won 28 matches, lost only 17. He is the winningest bowler here on Beat the Champ since we have returned and now in our 3rd year. He's been on more shows than anybody else, and he's won more than anyone else.
Right.
So, he is right now the king of bowlers here on Beat the Champ, and that's, and arguably even when he's not on Beat the Champ, he's pretty close to that too. And a little bit of a late fall on the 10-pin, but the first strike for Tom Kress.
We had mentioned before the show that, I have a long history of bowling league here. I haven't bowled here in a few years, but one of the characteristics of this house is if you can find the right angle to the pocket, you will strike and strike and strike. The strike percentage here is great, but if you don't have the right angle to the pocket, you can hit it, but you'll see 10 pins all day. So he tripped that 10 pin out. We'll see if that was perfect.
Good.
That's exactly the way you play it.
3rd frame strike for Tom Kress. So maybe he's finding a little bit of that classic lanes magic that you talked about.
Well, when you look at these two bowlers and see how they're different, Tom is playing up the boards. He's more to the right. He can miss to the first arrow, and the ball will come back strong. Mike's inside of that. He's got that shovel release, and he opens up the lane more, so you see him more loopy and deeper. And we'll talk about it later how that plays out because he starts out deeper. It almost affects how someone to the right of him will have to move because he's already in the spot that would be the hold area for the other bowler.
You got to look at the updated scores from Janelle Saban and the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard, and it looks like Mike Zarcone's already in the very typical Zarcone zone. The Zarcone zone, I kind of like that a little bit. That might be good on like a t-shirt or something. The Zarcone zone, but he's already there with 3 strikes in the first 4 frames, and this has to be intimidating for a guy like Tom. Again, his first time on the show, to be going up, and you've known since you qualified that you were going to go up against Mike Zarcone, so it's not like it just happened. You've had a week to think about it. Good cheering section on hand for Tom, as you can probably hear. His mother and his father, his sister, his girlfriend, friends, and relatives. Of course, they get a 2-for-1 deal here because they're going to root for Tom first, and then Ryan in the second match. And there's a miss of the spare ball and an open in the 4th for Tom Kress. This feels like a good time to take a short break. We'll be right back with more action on Beat the Champ. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Let's get back to the action here on WBBZ-TV. 50 years old is Mike Zarcone. Again, been bowling since he was, 8, 9 years old. That's a long, terrific career. One of the all-time greats in Western New York, a Hall of Fame bowler, former Obenauer Masters champion, former New York State All-Events champion. Again, I feel like if you've watched this show at all, you've heard me say that 50 times already. But if you've watched that show and seen Mike Zarcone bowl a lot, that does not look very familiar. What happened there?
The first thing that pops into my mind is the famed broadcasters Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. would always laugh because as soon as Bo Burton would say something, the opposite would happen. And I just said you give him an opening and he's going to take off with it. And here it is.
You're giving Zarcone a reason to get mad at me now.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
No, I think it was me.
All right, so open from Tom in the 4th, now open from Mike in the 6th. And a good comeback strike for Tom Kress in frame number 6. So maybe finding a little bit of a rhythm now is Tom Kress as you get another updated look at the Castellone scoreboard.
Well, if you look at the scoreboard there, you see that a strike here will even this match right up. So he's right back in it with that open. Big shot here for him, though.
Boy, ring around the 10 pin there.
Yeah.
Did almost a 360,
exactly,
didn't it?
Exactly. And he couldn't have put that in a better spot. This is what you see sometimes here is with that 10 pin.
And a good spare ball for Tom in the 7th frame. So now Mike Zarcone steps up to lane 32 to come back from his open in the 6th.
Yeah, give Tom credit there, though. He put the ball where he had to put it. That was a big shot. Could have tied this match right up.
The 6-match winning streak that Mike Zarcone is on now ties the longest of his Beat the Champ career. He won 6 in a row at Island Lanes back in our first year of 2016, and you can see the body language and the shrug of the shoulders and the arms up from Mike Zarcone that a couple things are not happening right now.
Well, either Mike's struggling with his timing or he's struggling with the approaches or something. Something is, he's not coming off his hand the way he wants to. He's not getting the line solid like he'd like to. So, what a great
wow!
start.
What a pickup for Mike Zarcone.
Absolutely necessary, too. He needed that.
Staring down at back-to-back open frames, a huge 4-pin spare pickup in the 7th frame for Mike Zarcone, and that has a big effect on the Castellone scoreboard. And that's, in a nutshell, what makes Mike Zarcone great, because this match could have spun right on that roll. And not only does he save himself a spare, he comes back with a strike.
Yeah, he does not look steady at the line, and a couple things can cause that, which we wouldn't really know unless we talk to him. But I don't know if he's sticking on the approach, if he's having a problem with the shoe, or he's just a little quick. Big shot here for Tom, though.
And a good strike in the 8th frame. Don't forget, the top qualifier in our round of 24 each month here on Beat the Champ wins a television valued at $500 from our friends at Dirt Cheap TV. Island Lanes in Grand Island will be the next opportunity for any of Western Europe's bowlers to qualify for the show and to win that Dirt Cheap TV. Check the Facebook page, Beat the Champ Facebook page for all the information about upcoming qualifying. We'll have those details for you later on in the show. That's 2 in a row for Tom Kress.
That was one great shot right there. Those are 2 frames that he really needed to put together, put some pressure on Mike. But Mike's going to finish here in the 9th and 10th, and he can either give Tom an opportunity or he can close him out. He's got that 9-pin advantage going into this 9th frame.
Looking for a 7th consecutive victory after 6 in a row at Rapids. And once again, the sticky 10-pin here in the 9th frame.
Well, because of that, Tom's future is going to be in his own hands. Cannot shut him out.
And I think if you told Tom Kress he'd have that chance when we started, he'd say, "Bring it on! I'll take it. Take me to the final frames with a chance to beat the great Mike Zarcone." So now this is big here in the 10th, because now what Mike needs to do is put some real pressure on Tom to have to probably strike out, right?
Every strike here. You want to force this young man on his first TV show to come up and have to throw a double. That's what you really want to do.
Wobble on the 10, and it won't go down. And a little bit of a dejected look on the face of Mike Zarcone. You always know what Mike's thinking. His body language always tells us what he's thinking. So it's a spare, and then the fill ball still to come here in the 10th frame for Mike Zarcone.
Well, the fill ball really matters here because the strike was going to force Tom to have to get at least 9 count on his first ball. So 8 would be not enough. So all the pins here matter.
And that's exactly what Mike does. Knocks down all the pins to post up a 205 score. Will it be enough? That to be determined by this gentleman, or the gentleman you just saw, Tom Kress. All right, so what does Tom need here, Sue?
So he needs 8 spare strike would actually be a tie. So he definitely needs 9 count here.
And he'll get 9 count.
Well, that's not a winner.
That pin
that's
do
not
a complete turnaround. No, I know, but he gets the 9. I swear that pin went almost completely all the way around.
It's kind of called a paralyzer when the 5 pin gets paralyzed. Yeah. So he needs to.
Making that up, aren't you? You're making that up.
I don't know. Am I or aren't I? Okay. So now 9 to tie, strike to win.
All right. 9 to tie, strike to win. I feel like I'm a little paralyzed right now by the way this match is
eight's
gone.
not enough.
All right, so that's what's in front of young Tom Kress to try to pull off a big win here and set up a match against his brother. A strike will do it on the final ball of the first match here at Classic Lanes. Let's watch and see what happens.
Ooh, got that in.
And it's a win for Tom Kress. A 206 to 205 win over Mike Zarcone. What an amazing match to get us started. Always interesting things happen at Classic Lanes, don't they?
Well, interesting things with bowling, right? We've seen it all.
Wow, what a match. And it does set up our first ever Beat the Champ brother versus brother match. We'll have that for you, but first a conversation with Mike Zarcone. When Sue and I return, we are off to a rollicking, rolling start here. It's Beat the Champ and Kenmore at Classic Lanes. Back right after this. Well, Mike, anytime we see you lose on this show, it's surprising to all of us, but to lose to kind of a young guy in his first at bat to this show, and then the way that match went, I'm surprised. I sense you are too.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't even know what to say. Just threw a lot of bad shots. A couple good shots at the end, but didn't carry.
Normally when you come to the last frames like that with a chance to put someone away, you almost always do. What happened in that in the 9th and 10th?
No, that's you're right. I usually do, but today just wasn't my day.
All right, Brian, he's the last guy that you wanted. You're the last guy he wants to see right now.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's still a great match, good competition. Thanks for bowling.
All right, well, we're off to a great start. Not so good for Mike, but at least entertaining to get us going here. Match number 2 from Classic Lanes coming up next.
I'm here at Beat the Champ with Double Trouble. No, you can't tell, but we've got twin brothers here on the show today. Our high qualifier, Tom Kress from Cheektowaga. What made you come out to Beat the Champ?
I've tried a couple times in the past, and every time when I've tried, I got closer. I bowled at Transit, and I was in the cut, but didn't bowl well in the top 24. And then at Alley Brand, I bowled and missed like the top 9 by like 4 pins. So I just kept getting closer every time, and I came out here and had a good feeling, and I was able to perform well and make the show.
Are you excited?
Yes, a little nervous, but.
Yeah. What do you think about taking on this guy?
I got him.
Oh, issue the challenge. Twin brothers, huh? So did you grow up bowling together, or how did that work?
Since we started leagues, we were just both always bowling together on the same team, and I like bowling with him. I'm comfortable bowling with him, so it's good.
But you can't line up off each other.
Yeah, no, that's the tough.
We've got a righty.
He tries to help me sometimes, but some of the stuff he tells me doesn't help me.
Do you find that one being left-handed, one being right-handed, one of you tend to dominate over the other from like condition to condition?
Yeah, I would say depending on what the lanes are doing, Tom would have a better look. I would have a better look depending on like what the left side and the right side are doing on the certain like pair that we're bowling on.
So you know how unique that is that you both made the show when you're right-handed and left-handed?
Yeah, and we're both 1 and 2 too. So.
Well, it takes away from the the being able to like beat on each other afterwards because you are different-handed, so you can always blame it on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is going to be fun. Looking forward to today, and bowl well.
Yep.
All right.
So it's Kress versus Kress, brother versus brother. Tom on the left, Ryan on the right. It's a first here on Beat the Champ. We've had father versus son. That happened in Jamestown late last year, but this is our first brother versus brother.
Yep, Tom's the champion. He's the baby brother.
What, by what, like minutes, right?
3
They are
minutes.
twins, by the way, in case you're wondering. Not only is this the first ever brother versus brother, but they're twin brothers.
3 minutes apart. Ryan is the older brother.
All right, well, let's see if the more sage, veteran, older brother can come up with the victory here. This is fun. This is great. This is what bowling is all about. It's the ultimate family sport, and here we have the ultimate family moment of two brothers performing against each other on television with a chance to advance. And right now, it is matching strikes for the first frame.
I tried to cause problems and asked Dad.
I'm sure you did.
And asked Dad who he was rooting for, but he wasn't. He was rooting for a tie.
What a thrill for the family. We're happy they're here. A good turnout for both of them. What a great moment this is, and it's fun for us. And and again, to unexpectedly, let's be honest. Anytime Mike Zarcone loses, particularly someone making their debut on the show, it's unexpected. But the way that match went, to have set this up is pretty awesome.
Well, this is a game of emotion, and this is highs and lows and how you ride it. And sometimes there is no advantage to being the one who should win, because there's just a pressure that, whether you put it on yourself or...
And that's maybe a little pressure there as Ryan misses the spare, and it's an open in frame number 2.
We saw that with Tom too, that pesky corner pin, and on TV your first show is just a difficult spare.
Yeah. Take a little while, like it always does, for first-time bowlers, of which in this case Ryan is now, and not that Tom is a sage veteran. This is match number 2 for him, but maybe that's just enough to give him the edge.
Tom is a veteran now. He's got a win under his belt. He's undefeated on this show.
That is right. There's the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Janelle Sabin. I thought she was going to write Kress and Kress on there just for the sheer theater of it, but as she clearly pointed out, that would confuse her too.
It would confuse all of us.
So it does say Tom and Ryan. So, but it should have T Kress R Kress. We got to capture the moment here, Janelle.
Wow.
Speaking of capturing the moment, there's strikes in the first 3 frames for Tom Kress.
I don't know if you can see the difference, but I think that there's a heck of a lot more confidence in his execution this match than there was in the other one. I mean, obviously so, and he's more comfortable taking on an opponent that he sees all the time. Good shot there.
There's a strike from Ryan, so good bounce back from the open frame. Joining us now for this match is the proprietor here at Classic Lanes. It's our friend Brian Borowski, a constant regular guest here on the show. Brian, it was good to have you back.
Didn't we see you a couple months ago?
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you were just here last week, right? No, we were up at Alley Brandt, right?
Yeah,
that's where we
county borders.
That's right. This is pretty cool, right? This is a
awesome.
Fun moment, isn't it?
This is great. This is what bowling's all about. You get the families together, little friendly sibling rivalry. I mean, it doesn't get better than this.
And equal amounts of cheering from the crowd section here for both bowlers, which is good. That doesn't always happen.
I just want to know who the parents are really pulling for.
She tried. They wouldn't give it up.
I tried. They weren't giving up.
Wouldn't give it up. All right, so Tom Kress now working on 3 consecutive strikes, hits frame number 4.
The confidence.
It's perfect through 4.
This looks like a good time to take a break. We'll be back with more Beat the Champ right after this. Welcome back to Beat the Champ.
I wonder if they work like the same shift.
They both work at Dairy Queen too?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and that one, Ryan did not like that one, and there's good reason to not like it. Although we did see Mike Zarcone make the same spare pickup, didn't we, in the first match?
Pretty close to
it was a little bit
Oh, was it a different one?
It was a different one.
Oh, it was the 10-3-6-10 that Mike made?
Correct.
This is the 1-3-6.
Yeah.
Right.
Is this harder or easier?
It's about the same, right?
I would say it's about the same, but then again, you also have to remember difference. Mike's right-handed.
And he got it. Didn't matter, Brian.
Didn't matter.
Good stuff right there.
I would say it'd be about the same.
About the same? Okay. I think that's why you're the pro here. That's why you're the expert.
It would seem to me with the head pin there would be easier to wrap around, but
Correct.
I really don't know that for certain. Just angle-wise, you've got a bit of a difference.
6th frame for Ryan Kress. And a strike.
That was a whoopsie in the right place. Got that one a little bit to the left, misses target, but hit those dry boards. And
Ryan's got a little more of the stone face thing going on here, doesn't he?
He's got you to thank for that strike right there, Brian.
Like you said, Tom's already kind of relaxed a little bit here after the first match. There's a strike. Boy, these guys are going at it. No, you pointed, both of you pointed it out. You know, coming into this, even I'm sure in Tom's mind, I'm on the show, I made the show, but I got a bowl against Mike Zarcone, and the nerves are probably there. And then as that match goes on and he wins, all of a sudden it's a complete shift to, I just beat Mike Zarcone and won on TV. I can do anything now.
And there's a definite comfort level of bowling someone you know versus, say, a Mike Zarcone. Oh.
Staring a minute there at a 7:10. Tom's average 213. Ryan, much better at 214. Much better brother bowler.
Well,
at
he's the
214.
older brother, so.
That's right. He's the older brother by 3 minutes and 1 pin. Spare pickup in the 7th for Tom Kress. Ryan Kress also bowls in a league at Transit Lanes and also bowls up at Brad Angelo Lanes as well during the week, and stays busy certainly in the sport just like his brother does.
Oh,
That one pin did a couple of loop-the-loops there, didn't it?
That was a big one, though. He really needed to kind of throw definitely the next two to put a little pressure on his brother. This is an unfortunate leave for him.
Spare in the 7th for Ryan Kress. And he will slide over now to lane 31. Coming down the stretch in the brotherly battle here at Classic Lanes. A little luck never hurts either. Strike in the 8th for Ryan Kress.
Another good break on that one. Again, he got it outside a little bit. Ball kind of flattened up, and fortunately was able to carry that 8 pin.
Yeah, he's definitely missing using those dry boards to help him there, get to the pocket. But it does help your carry when it's driving that hard, as long as it doesn't go high.
Correct.
And Tom continues to put the pressure on here with another strike. Winner of this match, which we guarantee will be named Kress, will take on Chuck Jagodzinski in our next. I knew you'd like that. I knew I'd get a chuckle out of you. That
you are a soothsayer.
Chuck Jagodzinski, another one of our all-time great Beat the Champ bowlers, awaits the winner. And don't forget, the winner of our top qualifier in each of our round of 24 every month here on the show wins a television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Chris Rathbun took the TV home for his performance here at Classic Lanes a couple of weeks ago. Hopefully he's enjoying watching Beat the Champ on his brand new television right now. 9th frame spare for Tom Kress. So here's last chance for brother Ryan. And he'll need some strikes.
He's going to need them all to force his brother to spare.
All right.
Strike in the 9th. Coming down the stretch, there you get the updated Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Brian, Sue talked about Classic Lanes being kind of a streaky place where you can go on a nice long streak. Why do you think that is? Is there any scientific reasoning for it?
Might be the water. We'll get some good Erie County water.
I knew you'd have an answer.
Here's what I've seen just from bowling here over the years. If you have the right angle to the pocket, you can just carry all day. However, if you don't have the right angle, you can hit the pocket, but 10 pins, I think, can slow you down. And that's been my feeling. But if you've got the right angle to the pocket, this has been a really good scoring house.
That's 4 in a row, including 2 here in the 10th for Ryan Kress.
No, and that's accurate. I mean, the big thing is the carry is the angle of entry into the
Exactly.
pocket. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Like Mike Zarcone's killed the place, and he's just got that, right spin on the ball when it hits the pocket.
To me, you have to use a little bit of the drive. I've seen, because you can, if you keep it in the oil, you can hit the pocket, but you'll leave the flat shots.
Correct.
All right, so what a finish for Ryan Kress as he finishes with 5 consecutive strikes to post up a 224. So now, 10th frame for brother Tom. What has to happen?
He needs to spare. Or strike.
Get a strike in order to win. So Tom Kress knocks off his brother Ryan, gets his 2nd consecutive win, and advances on. And that came down and finished the exact way we would want it to, with older brother putting the pressure on younger brother to respond with a victory. Good stuff, great stuff from the Kress brothers as Tom defeats Ryan. We'll come back and wrap this matchup, get you ready for match number 3 when we return to Classic Lanes right after this. Well, Ryan, I assume you bowled against your brother Tom hundreds of times, but what was it like to do it in this setting, on TV, on this show?
It was about the same. I just didn't bowl as well as I could have bowled, but I'll get him next time.
Right, you put a pretty good pressure on him there with the 5 consecutive strike, which I assume is, if he was going to win, you weren't going to let him do it easy, right?
I was not going to let him do it easy. I was going to put pressure on him and make sure he earned it.
How were you watching the first match, knowing the possibility existed, knowing, rooting for him to knock off Mike Zarcone? What was going through your head during that first match?
Just to tell him or have him throw good shots and win the match.
Right, all right. A man of few words, but a lot of good bowling. Maybe we'll get more words out of the other Kress brother. Are you the quiet Kress brother? Is that how this works?
Yeah, mostly.
All right, Brian?
Great bowling. It was a great match. Good to see some sibling rivalry. You can give him a little wedgie later, right?
Well, we got to say goodbye to one Kress brother, but we continue to keep our eyes on another Kress brother. It's Tom Kress and Chuck Jagodzinski. That match coming up next.
I'm here with, I need not say, Chuck Jagodzinski. You and Mike Zarcone on the show today, but taking on 2 twin brothers, so not just each other.
Well, I might take them on, or I might face Mike. Who knows what'll happen?
Well, either way, I'm sure you're prepared. This is not your first show here at Classic now, is it?
Nope, but last time I was here, I was in the 8th spot, so it'll be a lot different on the shot.
So what can we expect to see today on the lanes? Are they tight? Are they hooking? Where are you going to play?
Well, the practice pair is hooking out of the house, but I assume our other pair will be tight, so I'll probably play right up 5.
Well, sometimes that's a matter of the lanes having to calm down too when the oil gets carried down a little bit, right? We'll talk about that a little bit as the show goes on.
Yeah, because I'll have like 2 matches ahead of me, so they'll probably, and one of the kids had your thing, so he might push it a lot down.
All right, well, that'll be interesting, and we'll watch for that, and we'll watch to see you perform as usual.
Okay, thanks.
Good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Well, we're pretty sure Chuck Jagodzinski isn't related to Tom Kress, so we don't have a family battle going on in this one, but it should be a good match nonetheless, because we know how good Chuck is, and right now Tom is bowling great. Think about what he's just done here in the last less than an hour.
Well,
knocked off maybe the best bowler in Western New York and beat his brother.
The positive for Tom here is there is no letdown, so each match that he's up against has kept his adrenaline level the same, because this match is just like bowling against Mike Zarcone, another guy that you see on TV all the time. Yep. You know he knows his way around this show. You know he's not nervous at all in front of the camera. So there's no letdown for Tom, which is good because it'll keep his ball speed up and his momentum up.
18th appearance on the show for Chuck Jagodzinski. Those 18 appearances, second only to Mike Zarcone as the most here on Beat the Champ. So that just tells you how good Chuck is. He's always in the middle of the qualifying, almost always, it seems like on a monthly basis, winds up on the show. 14 wins, 11 losses is the overall record for the 50-year-old from Lancaster. And there's a late fall on the 7 for a second strike.
It's just not that easy to be in the top 9 all the time and shoot the scores you have to. And yet these two, it almost feels like there's only 7 spots because 2 are already designated to Mike and Chuck.
Right. You're right. You're almost right. No matter what, and in this case, Mike was returning from the month before, but you're right. The feeling is it's like it's really only 7 spots up for grabs.
And they're switching houses, so it's not like they have no advantage over anybody else.
That, to me, that's the ultimate tribute to what Mike and Chuck have done. Is it doesn't matter where, they're almost always in the mix on the show. And as you've educated both me and a lot of our viewers, that sometimes is the biggest challenge for a bowler, to go to a place that you either don't know, don't bowl well at, or isn't really suited to your style.
Right. And yet they make it seem, I mean, you have to give them, they've been bowling a long time. They've seen almost every house in Western New York. So it's not that they haven't seen them or haven't probably bowled league there actually, but still, it's just, it's amazing. Sometimes they put out a, not necessarily a house shot. And we've seen house shots not break down the way they're supposed to. It's just, these two are just at the top of their game right now.
Well, we are perfect through 3 frames for each guy. Strikes across the board. Chuck Jagodzinski was on the show last month when we were at the Rapids Bowling Center, where he wound up losing to Mike Johnson. But once again, 2nd consecutive month for Chuck Jagodzinski, and probably if I look back, it's probably it may be more than just 2. And Chuck is looking good right now. 235 overall average for Chuck Jagodzinski, and a good cheering section on hand for him as well too. 2nd consecutive match that Tom has opened with a turkey with 3 consecutive strikes. Just showing you how his ever-growing confidence level is on display.
Oh.
Ring around the 10 pin means it'll be a spare opportunity in the 4th frame.
I think that's what we're going to see with these two guys this match is who's going to 10 pin, who's going to corner pin, and who isn't.
Well, I think we've already seen that even just through the first 2 matches that, even though all these guys are bowling very well, that 10 pin has already kind of reared its ugly head a little bit.
Yeah, and coming up next week, we're going to have another left-hander. So testimony to this place that both sides kind of play the same. Like the scoring condition doesn't lean towards one or the other. I mean, it looks like obviously 2 brothers, left-handed and right-handed, both qualified 1st and 2nd.
So a good first 5 frames for Tom Kress, 4 strikes and a spare. Now listen to this story for Chuck Jagodzinski. This is great. Chuck, the week before we taped the show here, week before he qualified, he goes to a new chiropractor because his old chiropractor retired. So he goes out to, get his back worked on, and the chiropractor, they start talking. The chiropractor tells him, I'm a big bowling fan. I love, you watch that show. This is the chiropractor asking Chuck, do you watch that show, Beat the Champ? Chuck is like, oh yeah, I watch it all the time, And the chiropractor mentions, boy, I love watching that guy. He's got the unique delivery. Sometimes it kind of looks like he's almost going to fall over sometimes. Like, what's that guy's name? And Chuck says, oh, that's Chuck Jagodzinski. Oh, by the way, that's me. So see a little
for that chiropractor.
Yeah, well, and that's a little bit of, as you've already, a little bit of the celebrity that is starting to follow these guys a little bit, around town here.
That is funny when it is you that does it. And yeah, that's why I'm at the chiropractor. Can you fix that for me?
Oh yeah, that's me. I can't believe the chiropractor didn't recognize Chuck when he sat him down in the office. Well, because Chuck is perfect now through 6 frames, Tom knows he's got a lot of work to do, and you can see that on the Castellone Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram scoreboard. Even though Tom has only missed 1 strike, again, it's Chuck Jagodzinski. You got to be feeling it a little bit.
Nice shot.
So far, responding the way he needs to. The action will continue on Beat the Champ in just a minute. Welcome back to Beat the Champ. Chuck Jagodzinski's 14 wins here on Beat the Champ are tied for 4th most. Of course, trailing Mike Zarcone's 28, and I mentioned that his 18 appearances are second to Zarcone. And there you go, 7 in a row for Chuck Jagodzinski. He has 63 career 300 games, does Chuck Jagodzinski.
13 out of 14 strikes out here.
Got some bowlers here, don't we?
This match is going by in a flash.
Yes, it is. Big setup on the right-hand side for Jagodzinski. And another strike. That's 8 in a row. Boy, what more could we pack into a first show and 3 matches like this?
You're absolutely right.
This has been an amazing start to the month here in Kenmore. And Tom now 4 in a row. And 7 out of 8. So what Tom is doing here is now putting the pressure on Chuck, because one little screw up from Chuck now puts Tom right back in the lead.
Absolutely. 8 in a row and he can't relax. There's no way.
Isn't that amazing?
Big shot.
Ooh, and that one just missed the pocket and then kind of ran out of steam, leaving those 3 pins. So this is a critical moment in this match right now. Oh, good spare pickup in the 9th frame by Tom Kress. Don't forget, top qualifier in the round of 24 every month on Beat the Champ wins a television valued at $500 from Dirt Cheap TV. Next qualifying will come up at Island Lanes in Grand Island. 9 in a row for Chuck J. So Chuck heads to the 10th frame. Perfect. We have had 3 perfect games here on Beat the Champ in 3 years. Mike D'Amico, Paul Geiger, and Jason Siliberto. Will we add Chuck Jagodzinski to that list? And he might need every one of those pins to win this one.
Well, he's already got the win. It's just a matter of the 300 now. The best that Tom can do is 256, and Chuck's already got that.
Second ball of the 10th frame.
Wow.
And another strike, so it's 1 more for a 300 game from Chuck Jagodzinski. Let's see what he can do.
Oh.
Little false start there.
No pins.
Not exactly the moment you want the pins to be a little late on you, is it?
Welcome to the Peterson.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Pins are down. Chuck is lining it up for a 300 game. Oh!
Got that in the oil, just a hair, but great game, $2.99.
So Chuck Jagodzinski with a $2.99, a crushing 1 pin remaining in the final frame, but it's going to be a win for Chuck, and he's going to advance to next week's show. We'll talk to Chuck, we'll talk to Tom Kress about an amazing debut for him when Sue and I return. It's Beat the Champ at Classic Lanes. We're back right after this. I don't know if we've ever had a more entertaining first show than this one, and Tom Kress, you were a big reason why. Just take me through those 3 matches. Coming in your debut, beating Mike Zarcone, bowling against your brother, and then watching Chuck almost throw a 300 against you.
First match, I was kind of nervous because I knew Mike's one of the best out there, and just nervous at first. And then once I got a match under me, I got more confidence and just threw it really well the second game. Had a couple bad breaks, but then the last game, I thought I was throwing it really good and just didn't carry the 1 shot, and then threw 1 bad shot, and was over after that.
Your brother said he wasn't really fazed by bowling against you on TV. Please give us a little more interesting answer than that. Nothing against Ryan there, but that had to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a fun match. I like bowling with him when we just go out to bowl practice or when we bowl and lead together. So it was fun to bowl against him out here on TV.
All right, what a debut for Tom Kress and the whole Kress family. What a great way to get things started. Sue, are you going to ask Chuck if his chiropractor is going to recognize him now?
Yeah, Chuck, you said strike or go home. That was your philosophy today?
Yeah, in practice, we both were getting a lot of strikes. I knew it started low scoring, but I saw it was 200 and 230. I knew it was going to go up, so I don't know if I'll be able to keep this pace, but Maciel is pretty tough, but we'll see what I can do.
Yeah, you had the front 8 and you still couldn't relax because you kept the pressure on you.
No, I want to at least get the first 9, but he had a bad break with the 4-7-9, and got to take advantage of it.
Well, great bowling. You're right. You have good competitors next month, but great bowling today.
Thank you.
All right, as Chuck mentioned, his first match next week's show will be against veteran John Maciello. Before we get to that, Sue and I will come back and try to figure out some way to summarize this amazing first episode. That's when we return to Classic Lanes. A little more to come on Beat the Champ. This is what's great about sports, is sometimes you see things you never expected and you've never seen before, and they leave you speechless, and I feel like that's where I am after these matches.
Well, we know from being from Western New York that sports always have a story. It's not just the sport itself or the game itself, and we saw great stories today, and finishing off with the 299. It just was a fantastic day here.
Yeah, to start with a young upstart upsetting Mike Zarcone, to bowl against his brother, and then in the third match to see nearly a 300 with 1 pin remaining on the final ball. I don't know what more you could want. It was one of our most memorable episodes ever of Beat the Champ. I know you had a lot of fun down there,
It was
too.
so much fun, and it was so exciting to see these new guys put up such big scores and do so well for their first time on the show.
All right, we know Chuck Jagodzinski is coming back next month, and based on what we saw today, you better be back as well, too, because who knows what week 2 at Classic Lanes will bring us. We'll see you next week from Kenmore.